What's happening? My name's Kevin Duty. You're watching Duty's Daggers. I recently bought this knife. This is the Koenig Arius. Widely considered to be one of the best knives ever made. You know, it was extremely popular when it first came out back in the day. I don't know when exactly that was, but it was before I was into knives. And I've been into knives for around 4 years. When I first started collecting knives, this was still the shit. Most people, I would say a lot of people, the Arius was their grail, you know? Not that it was super hard to get. I mean, the drops would sell immediately, but if you were there, you had a chance to get one. I think mostly the price was what was the barrier of entry, them being pretty expensive, very expensive. I kind of want to talk about why these are not as popular anymore. When I was shopping for one, I noticed that when they would drop, they would kind of stay in stock for a while, whereas they used to immediately be gone. This was an USA-made blade exclusive version, an M398, and their new Plexa milling pattern. I bought mine. There were still some available for like half an hour, and then I stopped checking. Who knows? Who knows how long they lasted up? If this was a couple years ago, it would have been gone in an instant. Why is that? You know, why? So that was my first kind of clue that maybe the Arius wasn't quite as popular as it used to be. Then I went to Reddit. I started looking at the knife swap, you know, people selling Ariuses, Areolas, looking at past posts from recent times, and it seemed that the resale value of Areolas, was not very good. You know, you might probably not get your money back. All of your money back. You'll get a lot of your money back, but a couple $100 less than you probably would have gotten a couple years ago. So why is this? Why is this happening to the Arius? I have a couple theories, and then I want to hear your thoughts down in the comments as well. My first theory is it's just been around a long time, and there's a ton of other options nowadays. Way more so than there were when the knife came out. Especially knives in this tier, you know. There's a lot of newer makers making, you know, $800 to $1,000 knives now in this same class as the Arius. A lot of really excellent options too, you know, ton. So I think that's one reason, you know, more options. I think another reason is it was a fad when it first came out. It was a fad. And fads come and go, you know. They come and go. We're seeing the decline of the button lock fad. That it actually lasted a lot longer than I thought it would. The button lock fad was insane for a while. But it's dying out, it's starting to, it seems like. And that's just how fads go. So I think for a pretty long time, this was kind of the knife to own, you know. You weren't really a knife guy unless you had an Arius, you know. It seemed like it was the Arius and the Umnumzan. It seemed to me, at least the videos I watched, the, you know, people that I followed on Instagram, it seemed like the Arius and the Umnumzan were like the knives to own. And if you could afford one, you know, you could find one in stock and you bought one at a show or whatever, then you were the fucking man. It doesn't seem to really be the case anymore. Which makes me think, what is like the knife nowadays? If it's not the Arius anymore, what is it now? I don't know. Rosie is very popular. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. What do you think is the knife nowadays? Another reason that I don't think this is really the reason, but it's one annoyance that I have with the knife is the clip. It kind of sucks. It doesn't suck as much as I thought it did when I first put it in my pocket. But it's still stuck. It still sucks. Now, I'm wearing Wranglers today, blue jeans, and this clip works fine in those. But if I was wearing my Carhartt or some of my other work pants that have thick pocket seams, this clip does not work well with them. For two reasons. Number one, as you're sliding it in your pocket, your seam often gets caught on this lock bar relief cutout. Number two, the space in between the scale and the underside of the clip is pretty small. So once my pocket seam, gets up to about here, it doesn't really want to go further. Now I can jam it in and push really hard and get it to slide all the way in like this, but I'm really pushing, and then it's really hard to get out as well of my pocket. This clip was just not really designed for work pants, I guess, and I don't really wear blue jeans that often. I guess I'm gonna have to start maybe. It doesn't really bother me that a lot of the knife sticks out of your pocket. Once this is fully seated into your pants, you've got about that much sticking out, which doesn't really bother me. I prefer knives to sit deeper in my pocket, maybe right about here, but it's not enough to really bother me. Now, after kind of messing with it and realizing I could force it down further, it's okay. It's fine. It's not really going to make me dislike the knife, thankfully. I was worried for a second that was going to be the case, that the clip was going to ruin the Arius for me. I don't think that's the case. It's fine. But I don't really see very many people talking about that at all. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen a review of an Arius where they were criticizing the clip, which is odd to me. Who knows? Maybe I'm just too critical of clips. Who knows? So I don't think that's really a reason why people aren't buying the Arius anymore for the clip. It's been the same clip forever. Even at its height, it had the same clip. So I don't think that's it. I can't think of anything else. I mean, it's objectively a pretty beautiful knife, I think the flipperless ones look a little weird, but that's just me. A lot of people think they look beautiful. I really think it's just because we have so many other options now. Fit and finish wise, compared with the Rosie or Holt or Brown knives, the Cortex and the FSDs, Grimsmo, Shirogorov, all those $1,000 knives that are the best of the best as far as small production knives go. This is right up there with all of them. It has excellent action, really does. Better, I think, than some of those, actually. The flipping action is so snappy and so satisfying. The flipper tab is just shaped perfectly. You got the jimping on the top. And that sound, man, the sound is so good. The reverse click is excellent. It's just excellent. You can thumb flick it, but it's probably the weakest of the deployments. It's awesome. And look how smooth it is on the drop. It's just, it's amazing. For perfectly centered, the fit and finish is excellent. Every single Arius I've ever tried feels like this too, by the way. There seems to be no variance in snappiness or smoothness. Every single Arius I've tried has been exactly the same, which is very, very cool. So it's a cool knife. I just think we have a ton of other options now that people are kind of turning to instead of Koenig. So that's about it. Just my thoughts on that. Let me know in the comments what you think is the knife to own nowadays. I'm curious what everyone's going to say. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Love you guys.